Hello everyone. In this video, I will be translating and summarizing the latest Urdu broadcast by Shahbaz Gill to make it accessible for our English-speaking audience. Let us go through the key developments and insights in Shahbaz Gill's words. First of all, the airport celebration is over. The national-level welcome and celebrations have ended. The flowers that were bought did not even bloom. They wilted without blossoming. Field Marshal Sahib has returned to Pakistan. This is the first news to present to you. We will give you detailed information about what was planned and what actually happened. What was thought through, what was executed, and what did we end up with in our hands. Apart from that, new and intriguing details about Operation Midnight Hammer have now come to light. Shocking information. You will be astonished to hear how Iran was attacked. We also have to discuss the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa budget. Imran Khan had said that the budget must not be passed until he gives the go-ahead. Now, the discussion is about passing the budget. What is the middle ground? What should and should not be done? There are more important news stories as well, which we will present. But first, let us talk about Field Marshal Sahib's return. You already know that after having lunch with President Trump, Field Marshal Sahib reached Turkey, where he met with Tayyip Erdogan. It was not a planned meeting, obviously. How could it have been planned? The developments in Iran were happening so quickly that he thought he should also meet with Erdogan. From there, he was supposed to return to Pakistan. Initially, there were grand preparations for a heroic reception at the airport. His close allies had told Shahbaz Sharif, Maryam Nawaz, and other governors and chief ministers that they must go to the airport to receive him. After all, he was returning after a huge success. Some people were ready to go. The PMLN leadership was hesitant and confused. They did not know what to do. But PPP leaders were ready. The governors and others had all made preparations. Not only that, beautiful flowers had been bought, and on a national scale, celebrations were planned similar to those that followed our skirmish with India. We had gone into universities and colleges across the country, spreading a festive atmosphere. Events were organized on a national level. Billboards and hoardings of Field Marshal Sahib were put up. DG ISPR had prepared an elaborate plan. First, a celebration at the airport with flowers, horses dancing, and an elaborate reception. After that, there would be national celebrations across the country. But all of that got derailed by President Trump's Nobel Peace Prize nomination. Yes, we nominated him for the Nobel Prize, and that has now backfired on us. When I told you 2 days ago and you did not believe me, many of you thought that I was just trying to distract with another shiny object. But I had told you. When a kite flies too high, it either gets cut or must be reeled back in. Flying high for long is difficult. Now all the celebration plans are being cancelled. We are now being told to stay silent. Do not even mention the Nobel Prize. All the major directors of news on Pakistani TV channels were summoned. This is Adil Sahib's news from siyasat.pk. He broke it first and deserves credit. The entire Pakistani media was told, do not mention the Nobel Prize nomination for President Trump. If anyone does, consequences will follow. Not only that, if any PTI guest brings it up, cut it off. Censor the word Nobel Prize. It has become dangerous and extremely sensitive for us now. Moving forward, the Iranian ambassador held a press conference in Islamabad. As the saying goes, when bad luck hits, even a camel rider can get bitten by a dog. I told you days ago, and you were not listening. Now the Iranian ambassador, sitting in Islamabad, asked, President Trump, who committed war crimes and mass killings, you gave him the Nobel Prize nomination? Then what about others like Netanyahu, who did worse? He also mocked us, saying that we seem unaware of our own capacities. We hand out medals like candy, medals for performance, bravery, etc. In Pakistan, we have even given medals to people no one would let near food pots at weddings. The Iranian president questioned, Trump has only been in power a few months, and you nominated him for a Nobel Peace Prize despite everything he has done. Then what will you give to those who have committed greater atrocities? So the Iranian ambassador's press conference was barely allowed to air. Similarly, media was instructed not to cover anything about Trump's Nobel nomination. Before all this mess began, Pakistani journalists had been celebrating. One said, after the Field Marshal's meeting with Trump, the president was deeply influenced and has said he will not take any action for the next 2 weeks. Another claimed the White House is now under Field Marshal's influence. He has bought time for peace. Sajid Tarar, Trump's self-proclaimed advisor, said, the meeting has borne fruit. Field Marshal has secured 2 weeks, during which he will talk to Iran, Trump will talk to Israel, and the war will end. Had Trump waited 2 weeks and not attacked, we would have claimed all the credit, just like we did with the Air Force episode. There would have been boards, parades, fireworks, but Trump did not wait. He attacked Iran with B-2 bombers and launched dozens of missiles. Now we are stuck. Where do we go? One more comment from a sharp but often misguided man. Maybe the desire for the Nobel Prize will stop Trump from joining Israeli military action against Iran. Even Hussein Haqqani tweeted this. He thought the nomination was a masterstroke by Field Marshal Sahib. But now the Nobel Peace Prize has become our embarrassment. There is no celebration. Quietly, everyone has returned home from the airport. There were supposed to be drums and horses. Now nothing. Lastly, we issued a condemnation of the United States action without naming the United States, using Israel's name vaguely. A half-baked condemnation. Marco Rubio did not even let our diplomatic cover last. The United States Secretary of State said, "The countries condemning us publicly are actually aligned with us in private. They say they have to condemn us to fool their own public, but they support our actions." In fact, Field Marshal Sahib also got dragged into this. This brings us back to the WikiLeaks era. One leaked United States diplomatic document revealed that Prime Minister Gilani told the United States ambassador, "You keep carrying out drone strikes in Pakistan, we will handle the fallout. We will continue to protest against them in the National Assembly, but you do not stop. Keep doing your work. Over here, we have to block the public. You continue your work." So this reminded us of the same old thing. All right, let me quickly talk about the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa budget. And then I have to present to you some sensational information we have received about the Midnight Hammer operation. Regarding the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa budget, Imran Khan Sahib's clear tweet is available in which he said the budget has been presented. Fine, it is presented, but it will not be passed unless they come and give approval. The message was unambiguous, no ifs or buts. A very solid and straightforward message from Imran Khan Sahib was posted on his Twitter account, delivered through his sisters. Initially the message was that it would not even be presented, but later it was. Then he said, "Presenting it is not the issue, it will not be passed." Yesterday, our political committee released a declaration saying the whole committee endorsed it. I was not present. I do not attend those meetings. When I read the declaration, I sent a message to all political leadership. I did some research and gave them a new idea, what we could do. So basically I told them, since Imran Khan Sahib had clearly declared that unless he approves, the budget should not be passed, we must stick to that. Some senior members argued that this might bring down the government or dissolve the assembly. I said, although I am not a lawyer, from my research, I believe they are incorrect. I presented my research pointing out how in Canada's Ontario, during COVID-19 disruptions, the budget was delayed and they passed a temporary emergency budget only for a few days. In British Columbia, another province, there was a hung parliament and the election was delayed, and the full budget could not be passed due to several reasons. In Australia, the state of New South Wales faced a budget delay due to a conflict with federal election timing. In Victoria State, again due to COVID-19, the budget was not passed. In India, Kerala had a fiscal dispute with the central government, much like our provinces argue over fund allocations, and Kerala passed only a short-term emergency budget to keep hospitals, police and essential services running. Tamil Nadu faced something similar. There are many such examples, Bavaria and more. I presented all this to the leadership. I told them that across the world, especially in the United States, this happens frequently. Even when the ruling and opposition benches cannot agree on budget priorities, the government shuts down temporarily and passes a short-term stopgap budget for 10, 15 or 20 days. During that time, they negotiate and pass the full-year budget. So we too should wait. We should pass the budget only when Imran Khan Sahib gives his approval. If we are in a tight spot, we can pass a 10 or 15-day budget. If 15 days pass, do another 15-day one. If they do not arrange a meeting with Imran Khan Sahib, which is our constitutional right, then why should we pass the full-year budget? Our constitutional rights are not being fulfilled, so keep passing 15-day budgets. Let us see how long they and we last. It is crucial that Imran Khan Sahib's instructions be honoured and accepted. After presenting this proposal, I believe the narrative that the government would fall, there would be a no-confidence motion, the assembly would dissolve. All those arguments are now irrelevant. Either pass a temporary budget or do not. In any case, Imran Khan's instructions are more important than any government. If he gave instructions, he must have thought them through. He knows the consequences, even government collapse. So we must follow his instructions. That was my point of view. Let us see what happens in the coming days. Now Adil Raja Sahib, producer of Sharif's show, had an even better suggestion. He said, go ahead and pass the full budget, but remove everything related to the IMF that the federal government instructed the province to include. Pass a budget as per your will. Then they will come running after you because IMF will be angry. They will ask what you have done. IMF will not be happy if provincial policies contradict their conditions. He called that a masterstroke. There is a lot to discuss here, but the rule of thumb remains. Without speaking to Imran Khan Sahib, the budget should not be passed. Now let us come to the Midnight Hammer operation, the sensational information I mentioned. You now know that in the attack on Iran, the planes came all the way from America. Let me quickly give you some facts. Then I will do a bit of analysis. This was the largest B-2 bomber operation in American history. The B-2 stealth bombers are special aircraft as wide as a football field, about 150 meters. Not small fighter jets, these are massive planes. 7 such B-2 bombers were used. The entire bombing operation lasted just 25 minutes, starting at 2:10 a.m. Iranian time, ending at 2:35 a.m. 75 missiles were used, including 24 Tomahawk missiles launched from submarines. For the first time, 14 GBU-57 bombs, the heaviest bombs in the world, were dropped. Each B-2 can carry 2 bombs, so with 7 bombers, 14 were dropped, especially targeting 2 or 3 nuclear assets, mainly the Fordow nuclear site. Now about these planes, the United States only built 21 B-2 bombers. When they were made in 1997, each cost around $2.1 billion. Adjusted for inflation and costs, they are now valued at $4 billion per aircraft. One crashed in 2008, another had a fault in 2022, so only 19 remain operational. These aircraft are housed only in the United States, specifically at Whiteman Air Force Base. They require climate-controlled hangars due to their sensitivity and cost. They can refuel mid-air, fly at extreme altitudes and evade radar detection. For this operation they flew non-stop for 37 hours, 18 hours to Iran, bombed for 25 minutes, then returned. They never landed or stopped, refueled mid-air via other large aircraft. Once they were done, Tomahawk missiles were launched at Iran's Isfahan nuclear site from the sea. In total, 125 aircraft were used in this operation, not just the 7 bombers. Submarines and other assets were also involved. Now here is an interesting military tactic. 2 B-2 bombers were intentionally flown in the opposite direction, towards the Pacific, Japan, etc., with open communications so the world, including us, tracked them. Meanwhile, the actual 7 B-2S took a secret route toward Iran. This was a decoy strategy, classic military deception. They reached, conducted precision bombing in 25 minutes and left. Iran's air defense did not respond because it had already been destroyed. The operation was highly classified. Only a few top people in Washington knew. Congressional leaders were informed after the bombers returned. Each B-2 costs $150,000 per flying hour. If you calculate the total cost of the operation, considering the bombs, missiles, aircraft and submarines, the total cost comes to about 150 billion Pakistani rupees for just a 25-minute strike. Before the strike, diplomatic channels informed Iran that only an aerial attack would occur. No attempt to overthrow the government or target leadership. This is an important claim reported by the BBC. Iran was told in advance that only nuclear bases would be hit. Now the key question remains, were Iran's nuclear assets destroyed? Were they protected? Does Iran even have a nuclear bomb? What damage did those massive bombs actually do? That analysis, along with more exclusive insights, is part of our English documentary vlog today. You will see the link on screen. Please watch and share it in your WhatsApp groups. And if you have not joined our WhatsApp channel yet, do that too. Link is both on screen and in the description. That wraps up our translation of Shahbaz Gill's video. I hope this English version helped you understand his message better. Please like, share and subscribe to Awami Lens to help our community grow. Do not forget to leave a comment below and let me know what you thought of this effort.